Hello, good evening, and welcome back to Common Sense for Relationships.
Yes.
It is our pleasure to have you with us this evening. My name is Anietie Bature, and this is my husband,
Kingsley Bature.
Yay! We are the hosts of Common Sense for Relationships.
Now we be this.
And on this show, we bring you valuable information to help you make better decisions in your life
And
and in your
relationships.
relationships.
Yeah.
So, welcome to everybody who has joined us already.
Yes, we can see Debbie. Debbie, we don't see you already. Debbie, we don't see you already. And if you are online and you can hear us, please type 111 to be sure that everything is sounding the way it is sounding here. Yes, so that it's also sounding that way that we're hearing it. So,
okay. And if you when you come on, please just let us know where you joined from and so on. And remember to like when you hear something good, right? Remember to share with all the people you know that need this.
Yes.
And remember to subscribe if you have not yet done so.
Yes.
So happy Easter to everyone who is celebrating Easter. It's a beautiful season. We know that the message around Easter is a message of sacrifice. How one person, how God sent his son, right, to die for the sins of the world. So that's one person paying the price for so many. And that is just so amazing. And in the season of Easter, what we're talking about today is how much is too much?
Sacrifice.
How much is too much? In relationships, you find a lot of times that, in fact, all the time, that there is give and take.
Yeah.
There's give and take. So the question now is, how much is too much?
For you to give.
For you to give.
Or for you to take.
Or for you to take. Yes, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And this cuts across. It's not just for the singles.
No,
even in marriage, you also have to check how much is too much to give.
So for singles, for married, even in life, so whether you are doing life as a single or doing life as a married, it cuts across the different sectors of your existence. You get. Yeah, so that's how I see it. That's how I see it.
Great. So it's going to be so much fun today, and we are going to dive right in. So,
great.
To everyone who is on the call, please just feel free to type in there your comments. If you have given so much in a relationship that you feel like you gave too much, please just go ahead and just type a comment. And if it is so serious that you want to talk about it live, as in come on live and say what happened, just let us know. Also,
and you see this thing about give and take, right? It's like this whole issue of sacrifice. Most people actually do sacrifice. As in, if something is important to them, they are willing to give up other things for it.
Yes.
So the question now is, what have you given up for what? And the thing that you gave up for the thing that you got, was it worth it? Because when you talk about, Jesus coming to die, for all of those that are Christians that believe it, of course, that there are people that are not Christians that still watch our show. So for those that believe that he gave his life, which is what you would call the ultimate sacrifice, was it worth it? Do you understand? So it's that parallel that I'm looking at when I think about what we're talking about today.
For my sake, my answer would be it was worth it at least.
Hey, that's you answering. I don't want your answer.
So I don't know. Maybe you answer on behalf of other people. But it would be a good thing to even look at the word sacrifice. Because sometimes we just assume that people know, right? But even when you think you know, it's good to just double check. So I'll read you the meaning of sacrifice, and I'm taking this from let's see. Yes, from Oxford.
While you find out, like those that are just joining us now, we see some of you coming in we are talking about how much is too much. But don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to send it to a neighbor or an enemy or a friend. And I'm sure you can tell that we are not in our usual studio. We are in transit, out of location. So please, the show is about to roll, and as usual, my wife won't telling us something. So for those of you that are just joining, yes, how much is too much?
All right, so I am starting with a definition, and that definition is the definition for sacrifice. And according to Oxford Dictionary, it says here that sacrifice is when you give up something valued for the sake of other considerations. When you give up something valued for the sake of other considerations. Okay, so that is the definition. And I think that's a good enough definition for us to work with. When you give up something valued, something you value, something that is of worth to you, you give it up for the sake of other considerations. That's sacrifice. So, have you sacrificed in your relationship? Are you sacrificing in your relationship?
Queen Debbie says, human ATM, God, I have sacrificed. Wow. Debbie, I'm sure a lot of people, especially guys, will relate with you very well. As far as human ATM is concerned, right? Yeah.
So how much have you sacrificed? That's what we want to talk about today. In relationships, we always sacrifice. Yes, like I sacrifice my time in our relationship.
Which time are we talking about?
The time that I spend cooking food that you will eat, or that we will eat, or that the entire family will eat. That's the time I'm sacrificing.
Yes.
I sacrifice the time that I would have used watching romantic comedy to watch action movie.
Is that the sacrifice you're counting?
And no, now we're just trying to give examples.
Okay.
And then what have you sacrificed? You want to give an example?
It's plenty. I sacrifice listening to gist about what happened in the office when I have no business in your office. But then I have to sit down and listen to engineering gist and pipes and water flow and I don't know where you people get all those 3-letter acronyms that you people use. I don't want to call a number of them, but I know too many 3-letter acronyms from engineering that I have no business listening to, but I still sacrifice for the sake of national peace just to listen. Should we go on? Please, let's continue with the show. I beg.
So the issue is, what kind of sacrifice are you sacrificing? And is it okay? Is it not okay? Is it just right? Is it too much? So let's see. As a single person, let's just look at singles first before we get down to the marriage avenue, right? So for singles, what are you sacrificing to get married? So now this is speaking directly to the singles who we know want to get married, right? What are you sacrificing to get married? And why are we asking this question? We're asking because some people really give up a lot just because they want to get married. Example, some people decide that they are going to start living a certain way or behaving a certain way, or maybe hide their identity, their true nature or character, right? Just to get married.
Okay.
Example, you are affluent, you are the life of the party, you have you are set a certain way, right? But then somebody will tell you, don't buy car now, because if you buy that car,
guys go they avoid you,
nobody will marry you.
Wow.
And then the poor lady has to continue doing Uber and all sorts. And some people say don't buy house, so if they know that you have it,
it don't be for you,
so you sacrifice the kind of quality of life you would have given yourself just because you want to stay in the range, right? Or be classified amongst the people
that are marriageable.
Exactly.
That men are not men that do not threaten men.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I mean, that's just a typical example, right? So please, if you've heard of this kind of sacrifice I just talked about before, please just type a comment in. Let's know that you have heard, and so that it's not that I am saying something strange.
That this one don't touch you before.
Or if it has happened to somebody, please share. Another one is time, right? Your time is of value to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
And now that you see that there are times that you have that you use for things that are important. They're like touch note. Example, time that you spend on work, time that you spend on your business, time that you spend doing things that are non-negotiable. But then there's also the time that is free or the time that is flexible.
Yeah.
Right? If somebody comes and you are giving up free time or you're giving up flexible time to spend with the person to develop the relationship because it has become important to you, right? That's reasonable, right?
Right.
But what if you are in a relationship and somebody begins to demand for even more time, to tell you stuff like, I beg that office to call in sick, tell them some lie that you're not available. I want you to follow me to so and so place. I want you to do that with me. I need you to come and solve something. And this person just keep, and it's not once, it's not twice. This person just keeps encroaching into that area that should not be trifled with, because there could be consequences, isn't it? There could be consequences when you tell a lie and say, I'm not in the office, I can't come to the office because I'm sick. And then unfortunately for you, the place you now followed the person to, that's where your boss now decided to go and have lunch.
That one no good. That one no good.
For somebody now took a picture and put it up, selfie, as is happening right now. And then you are in the background, and that's how they know that you're not that you're not really sick. Things like that. What are you experiencing in your own relationship? And the things that I'm saying, have you heard of these before? Does it sound strange to you? Okay, Blessing, I see you. Blessing, good evening. Thanks for joining us today. Yes, I see Blessing, and I see Debbie, and I see everyone. Okay, so yes, these are some of the things that you have to deal with. Time. Now, another one is money, resources. Kingsley Effiong says consideration. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Yes, this is really important, Kingsley, and we will come right to that. Putting yourself in other people's shoes when you're making demands, when you're making requests, and so on. This is something that is so important, right? Because it just helps. It helps relationships thrive when people learn to consider others and put yourself in the other person's shoes. Yes. So another one is money and resources.
That's the human ATM part.
That's the human ATM part, in truth. Money and resources. How are you dealing with this part of your relationship? Right. Because I mean, you have your money. I have my money, for instance, right? And you have your plan. I don't know how you're living your life or how you were living your life and how you were managing your money before you met me. But I had the way I was living my life and how I was managing my money before you came along.
Before you came.
It may be good, it may be bad. I may have been a spendthrift. I may have been a very organized person when it comes to money. I know what percentage I save, what percentage I invest, what percentage goes for charity or for tithe, and so on, what percentage, and so on. All of that is in place. Then somebody comes into your life and you start to, redirect some of those resources to either enable the relationship or enhance the relationship or help the other person out, and so on. And this goes on to the point where it starts infringing on, I mean, there's a part that is like, okay, no problem. Then after a while, it starts to get into
your quality of life.
Then after a while, it gets to the point where some people even start giving the money that was meant to be for food, the money that was meant to be for rent, the money that was meant to be for bills.
Basic necessities of life.
Just to keep relationships going. And then somebody that used to eat well before, all of a sudden now at home cannot eat a proper meal because they have used too much, right? How much is too much, right? And then you now start giving excuses when somebody says your rent is due, or your bill you haven't paid. You start telling people you are owing, I'm sorry, give me some more time, give me some more time, just because you were taking, the one that sometimes is amazing is somebody comes into your life, they haven't even married you yet, they're already telling you that they are the ones that will tell you how to spend your money. Oh my goodness.
Your money is our money. I should not go there.
Yeah, so this is another one of those cases. Now I'm speaking of in general, but I mean, I know that men are often the ones who voice out a lot about this,
money,
right?
yeah.
You hear things like, once, in fact, there's some people that once you say hello to them, they'll start telling you, my mother's rent is due, my hair, I need to change it, my sister's school fees is just around the corner, my this, my that. Sometimes I wonder, is it that the ladies are trying to use that to tell the guy, look, if you're not ready to handle all of this, just be going now. Or if it is that really it's expected that when somebody comes into your life, they should just take on all these responsibilities and start running things for you as far as money is concerned. So what are you experiencing in your own relationship? Please, if you have any of these things that I've touched on, changing who you are, or more like hiding or repackaging yourself so that you are seen as marriageable. I've talked about sacrificing your time and maybe too much of it. I've talked about sacrificing your money and resources, or too much of it. If you have experienced this, or you know anybody who has, please feel free to drop the comment, leave a comment about it, so that we can get the different
perspectives,
see how it is happening for a number of you, right? Now, another one is other relationships. But when it comes to other relationships, some people will tell you, oh, but if you're in a relationship with this person, then you need to cut off this and that and that. And yes, if someone says, well, we are in a relationship now, you need to cut off the bonds, the ties you have with your exes, in quotes.
Ex.
That's reasonable, right?
So you need to X the X.
That's reasonable. But when they start telling you, you need to, your family, that they are influencing you too much, their input is not allowing you to do the things that I want you to do, or the things that are good for us, they shroud it in one way or the other. And they begin to kind of demand that you separate yourself from the people that are the core for you, your real friends, your true family members, who really care about you and have your best interest at heart.
Okay.
And somebody is stylishly, or maybe even directly, telling you to move away from those people. And sometimes they may paint it like, I love you,
I love you so too much, so I need to keep you from
I don't need
from
all
other
this,
influences.
yes, that kind. This is about the two of us,
just the two of us.
Yeah, they just say all
we
those
can
things,
make it if we try. Just the two of us.
Oh my goodness. And then they start to pull you away from these people that were like a very
support system,
critical, crucial part of your life. They were your support system. They were the people that look out for you if anything goes wrong. They will be the ones to check on you. They will be the ones to come to your rescue if you were in trouble, and so on. And somebody is teasing you away from those relationships.
So
how much is
too much? How much is too much?
You ask me to give up an ex, right? Reasonable. When you start asking me to give up my sister, my brother, my mother, my closest friend, that is a girl, or that is of my own sex, is not a challenge to you. When you start asking for this, is that too much? Is that too much? Are you?
Where do you draw the line?
Yes. Where do you draw the line?
So I see these things you're talking about are really interesting conversations. They are interesting concepts. I was drawn by the conversation that is happening in the group. Billy, we see you. It's like you are in America, that's why you say good morning. So Billy, it is well. If that's what you're seeing, Billy, how much It's too much. How much are you going to sacrifice in order to end up in America? All right, but these are critical questions to ask. And you see, in the light of Easter, many people don't really know what Easter about. Easter is the season of one of the greatest sacrifice in human history, in the history of the world. Yeah, but we begin to see that in our lives there are things that we do every day for one reason or other. So we also have to talk about the reasons why people make these sacrifices. So you've spoken about the consequence of this sacrifice, or the kind of sacrifices that people make, and the things that they are most likely to lose. But the other side also is, what are the reasons why people make sacrifices? Some people make sacrifices for career. Because I want to be the best in my field, or I want to hammer, or like Billy now, I want to go America.
Is that what Billy said?
No, I'm just using that as an example. No, why are you like this? It's example me. So what are you going to sacrifice in order to get that thing that you really want? Now, that's one question. The other question is, when you have sacrificed what you are willing to sacrifice, was it worth the sacrifice? What you are giving up, is it equal to what you are getting back? Or is it more than what you are getting back? Or is it less than what you are getting back? What are the reasons why people sacrifice? For career, for love. Because I love him or her, I will give up such and such. And in the process, a lot of us have given up certain things. But the question we are asking, look at your life again and check. What have you given up? Somebody is saying something there that I have to see. He said, Pastor, okay, this is your haircut. Is it the Easter look? Happy Easter to you too. And so, you see, this is part of the sacrifices that we're talking about. I like my Noah look.
Is it not Abraham?
Abraham. I like my Abraham look, but in the spirit of sacrifice, and the kind of sacrifice that allow me to still stay in the house. No, not outside the house, but inside the house. I have to give up some hair in order to have this look. It's all sacrifice. So was it worth it? Well, if you are talking about it now, maybe it is worth it. Even though my daughter would still have preferred me to have some more hair. Me too, I would have preferred to have some more hair. But then the sacrifice. I'm moving in this. I'm not pointing at anybody. I'm not pointing at anybody. But the sacrifice has been done in order for me to look like this.
Oh my goodness. Maybe we should weigh all the hair that you lost.
It's a lot
value on each strand.
It's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of sacrifice. Victor,
goodness.
yes, you are right. Narrow sacrifice.
Hi, Victor.
As okay, is actually staying in my mind though. I really want to go there. Yes, so if you really want to go there, Billy, what are you willing to give up to go there? How are you going to get there? What? Because it's like a reality in life. Anything you want, you must give up something to get it. So what we are trying to some of the things we are looking at is, what are you giving up in order to get the things that you are getting? So that when you evaluate it, you will now find out whether somebody is ripping you off in the name of a relationship.
Yeah.
To know whether your relationship has been rigged. Like we did rigged relationship last month. What are you giving up? Let's evaluate. Let's check.
Yeah.
Look at your relationship. What sacrifices are you making? Your career. What sacrifices are you making? Your
comfort.
Your comfort. What sacrifices are you making? So that's one part. Second part. What sacrifices should you make? And where do you draw that line we're talking about? It will be good to get some feedback from.
Another one. Another thing that people sacrifice, right, is your comfort zone.
Can you throw more light?
Comfort zone.
Elucidate, juxtapose, extrapolate, and.
No, you're just speaking English.
Okay.
your comfort zone or your relation or your location, right? So just see a scenario where somebody lives somewhere. I know this place. I understand this place. I have friends here. I have family members here. Everything. My support systems are here. I would like to raise my children here, have a family here, and so on. But for some reason, and as life would have it, the person you meet is in a different place. And you are required to relocate to go and be with the person. So that means you're moving away from
everything you know,
everything, and you are in the name of love, right?
Going into a place where you are a novice.
Moving over. Yes, you're going to be married. Yes, it's a new start and all of that. But when you look at it, really, it's a sacrifice, because you are walking away from everything that was your comfort zone and you're going into completely new territory. So these are the kinds of things that you think about and say, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Because really, for you to make that kind of sacrifice, better look well and make sure that it's not the type that will end in regret, right?
End in tears.
You actually have to check, is it worth it? I'm not going to say anymore.
It's sensitive. It's
and that's why when people are getting into stuff, they should really check. Why are you laughing?
Kingston.
He says what?
I don't know where we get these people that come into our lives.
Sacrificing kidney?
I say, how about sacrificing kidney in the name of love? There are different dimensions to it, because like we say here, we both of us like to watch medical dramas, right? And we've seen many instances where people have to give up a kidney, right? People have to give up a portion of their liver, in order to save a loved one. But every time, in every case, you have to weigh it against what is the it's like that scale that the Lady of Justice holds. What's on this side versus what's on this side? What am I giving and what am I getting? What am I losing and what am I getting? Right? If I don't help this, if I don't give the kidney, am I going to lose a loved one? Right.
And in some cases, you even find people that just outrightly just to help another human, even when they're not really gaining anything. They just go ahead and.
So it's like they are losing. It's more as if they are losing, because every time you take an action or a decision, because the way I'm looking at it is the whole concept of sacrifice happens in every area of life, and even when you are not paying attention, you are sacrificing something. You are always sacrificing something, because life is a system of give and take. So, for example, when you go and buy something from the market, you have just done what? You have sacrificed money
to get that thing.
You have given something to get that thing. So when you come back home, you are rejoicing with what you have bought, right? You say, I just told your friend, man, I just buy this new watch now, man. I bought the thing for 350K. And the guy told you, bros, they don't scam you. That thing are like 60K for market. At that point, it feels like I sacrificed my hard-earned money in order to get this pleasure of life. But then I now found out that I paid too much for it. So that brings in context that it applies to every area of our lives. So if we step away from relationships, we'll find the application. If we step back into relationships, you'll find the application. The time that you have invested in this relationship that you are in, is it a scam or is it worth it? What you are giving to because a lot of time, this. A lot of time when we talk to people, you will hear, after all I did for him.
So maybe you really did a lot.
Then
you did too much.
Or you did a lot, or you did too much. So by the time you evaluate the doing that you did, how did it do you? You understand? When you evaluate the doing that you did, how did you do? Do you
Because
feel done?
because when you look at singles and then you look at married, for singles, while you're giving, you need to make sure that there has to be, should I say, boundaries, there has to be thresholds, right? There has to be some kind of reservation, because you can't give and give every single thing there is to give, and then by the time, let's say, the relationship doesn't work out, you now start complaining that you were used, that you were abused, that you were taken for granted, that
So,
do you understand?
this give credence to. There's a question that Kingsley asked there, so that you might need to you might need to answer or pay. Kingsley said, in a social parameter, the guy who suffers is the one who sacrificed the most.
Yeah.
How do we calculatively keep a balance? Some of the English, the English one wound me. Keep a balance in a relationship when it has to do with sacrifice. This is the part.
When it comes to that, you cannot keep a balance. You can't keep a balance as to say, let's make sure that what we are giving is equal. You can't, because there's no way to measure the love she's giving. What does it weigh? The love I'm giving, what does it weigh? The money she has spent, the money I have spent, the time she gave up, the time I gave up.
So then how do we know when it's too
You
much?
can't do balance as per comparing the two of you.
Okay.
But what you need to do is to watch yourself. What am I giving? And you're watching, what am I giving? Am I giving to the point that if this doesn't work out, it will break me? Am I giving to the point that if I lose this relationship, I'm going to feel like frustrated and all of that? Those are the things you need to check for. Am I giving what this person has not rightly earned?
So
that's another one.
That's where I was coming to.
Yeah.
To say you should slow down small and throw more light on this part, which is the fact, because you've mentioned that to weigh what you're sacrificing, you cannot look at what another person is bringing.
Yes, you're supposed
to be looking at yourself. What am I giving?
Am I okay giving
gifts? Yes.
Right.
So I wanted to
just like how sometimes people take money from you, right? There's the amount of money that you give to the person that if they don't give back, the person can become your enemy. Because they're like, I can't. You know how somebody will tell you, I'm in need, I'm really broke, please help me. In fact, they're about to kick me out of my house. And then you say, since you're really in desperate need, this money I'm giving you is my child's school fees. But because I'm your friend, I don't want them to throw you out of the house. Please, like you said, shame won't end bad. The person said yes. It's okay, I'll give you this money. Go and pay your rent. But please, bring it back month end, though. If not, I will not have what to use and pay my child's school fees. And the person will tell you, thank you, God bless you.
How many people have suffered this thing before?
You can hear that we are speaking from experience.
I've read that.
Then month end will reach.
And English will start.
First of all, you are the one that will be calling them
to find out.
After that, the kind of pain, the hurt, the everything, because you're going to be thinking, so you did not even care about me and how I'm going to you now I have been put in a situation where I have to now go and start looking for money just because I tried to bail you out. You understand that kind of situation?
Money to meet my need, though.
Exactly.
That I wouldn't have had.
Yes. If you so is the same way when you are dishing out all the love, all the affection, all the time, all the resources that you're putting into that relationship. Is it such that if that person turns and walks away, follows somebody else, or says, you know what, I can't do this anymore, it's not working, is it the kind that you will feel, hell, I have been duped, I have been cheated, and so on? You have to be watching. You have to watch. So the amount, everything that you're giving, please just make it such that you're not getting to that point, to make your life a whole lot easier. Sometimes how much control, that's another thing that we've not talked about. How much control are you giving? So maybe for you guys, you might not understand that one. But for ladies, how much control over yourself and your affairs are you giving to a guy that has not even met your family, has not gone to tell them, I am interested in your daughter, there's a flower in the garden and something.
Has not put a ring on it.
Has not put a ring on it, has not done anything, but he's controlling where you go, who you see, when you go, whether you travel. Can you imagine? If not, somebody has not even married you, and they're telling you cannot travel to go and see your mother. Somebody has not even married you. They're telling you this job opportunity that you want to take, I feel that it will be too demanding of your time. It will not allow our relationship to flourish. And you give up the better job that could have improved your quality of life because you want to still be in love with this person. How much control are you giving away? Critical part. That balance you were talking about, Kingsley. The balance is not between two. The balance is what am I giving versus what am I giving that is okay versus what am I giving that is too much. That's what you're supposed to be checking.
Victor says, you are Victor, this thing sounds like experience. He said, you'll be begging the person for your own money. The person will even start insulting you for disturbing him, for your own money. Troy, I have suffered. Victor, we've been there, and we can commiserate with you on the altar of experience. Not be smart. That's it. Not be smart. And it happens over. So sometimes when some people even come with this story, that's why they say about hardness of heart. Sometimes some people come with the story, you just see some of us be like, how many times have I heard this one?
Exactly.
How many times have I heard this one?
Once bitten, twice shy.
As once bitten. And the problem is that we have been bitten many times, so we can't even count how many times you are shy. Do you understand? So, but I mean, it's the reality. Victor said again, say me right now, I have sacrificed my personal adventures and activities to work almost 12 hours a day to provide all for my family.
Exactly.
And meet the timeline of the plans in a new country.
Exactly. Now, Victor, thank you so much, because you have just ushered us into the part of really addressing what concerns the married people. Because when you're single, right, you're looking at what am I sacrificing to get married, right? And am I sacrificing too much in the name of wanting to get married, knowing that you could be taken advantage of just because you are trying to get to that new phase of your life. Now, for people who are married, what are you sacrificing for? You're sacrificing to stay married. You're sacrificing for the well-being of this new unit, that is you and your spouse, or maybe not so new anymore because it has been many years, but you're sacrificing for the well-being of that family, you, your spouse, your children, if you have them, right? You're sacrificing for the advancement and the growth of everybody, every individual, both you, as in you yourself, the spouse himself or herself, each child, you're sacrificing, right? And so at that point, you begin to do this whole balancing. What is most important at this point?
Prioritizing.
Yes. What's most important? What is most urgent? You start to look at that, because I mean, you see things like, this is the money we have. What's the most important thing right now? Is it rent? Is it school fees? Is it vacation? To somewhere nice and exotic, right? You start to weigh all of those things. Or you are a career person, you want to move, but then your children, they are so young and so small, and they really need the attention of this parent or that parent at this point in their lives, right? And then it's like, okay, what am I sacrificing? And do I kind of slow down on this side so that I can pay attention to family at this point, or do I just keep pushing for my career door? They'll sort themselves out or something. You have to look at the balance, because now you cannot say, hey, don't sacrifice, don't give over control or something. It's supposed to be mutual, and this is where a lot of discussion comes in. Because sometimes you have to suspend your business so that my career can advance. And sometimes I have to put the the career in suspended animation so that family and business can thrive. And so on. They're just different sacrifices that you make. But the thing is, as we discuss, we talk, what you need to look out for is alignment by the father and the mother, the husband and the wife, right? Align, and then you advance with that alignment in mind, right? So that you are happy, I am happy. If you are the one sacrificing now, please note now, you know that it is for a season.
Yeah.
And that in another season, you are confident that if the need arises, I will be willing to sacrifice.
That's where the problem is. There was one movie. There was one movie I watched back then where the guy gave up. He gave up 10 years of his life, and I'm using give up because he felt like they were working as a family towards this purpose. You know, there was something that he was very good at, and then he gave up 10 years of his life so that the lady can become what she I think she was a movie star and so no. So when she has begun to hammer and gotten the notoriety that she was looking for, the guy now said, okay, it's now time for me to also go and do my own. Now there wahala starts. I've seen another one again on the flip side where the lady says, okay, you want to enter politics, I will give up my bubbling career. Do you understand? Just so that we can take care of the home front, so that you can do this thing you want to do. But after 10 years, after a couple of years, I can't remember how many years, after this thing, I still want to do this thing that I want to do. But when the time reached for that to be fulfilled, it became a problem because the guy feels like, okay, I'm in this thing, I'm in the zone, I'm in the and people don't want to give up. So these conversations in marriage and it can even be before marriage, but in marriage is where you see it a lot of time because they are part of the conversation. There's even the one where the guy said, don't worry, I will marry you, I will let you go and do masters. And when I marry you, I will train you in masters. Till don't they reach 10 years? We will never do masters. They have not mastered. They have just been there has been a mistress since. No master. Do you understand? So there's this part that worries me.
In the part of married, right? Because you are looking for sustainability, you're looking for peace and harmony, you're looking for progress for the family. You can't just like if you're single and it's not working, you just pack your bags and go. I'm not doing this anymore. You have to talk, you have to engage, you have to try to work things out so that it's not one person that is always giving. Only one person is sacrificing all the time. One person, that's the official sacrificer. At all times and in every season. While the other person is just living large, enjoying.
Ugo said something to this. He said all hands must be on deck. You should be able to sacrifice the type of thing you need as sacrifice. Let me read that slowly. You should be able to sacrifice the type of thing you need as sacrifice. Anyone expecting what he or she doesn't give is a criminal in the relationship. So that means in the relationship, there are sacrificers and there are criminals. There are sacrificers and they are criminals. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You get it now.
Yeah.
So it's
don't ask for what you won't give.
Don't ask for what you won't give. Don't ask for what you won't give.
If you will not give time, don't give time. If you will not give up your career, don't ask me to give up my
career.
If you will not, do you understand?
Yeah.
If you will not I don't want to start getting into more details, but just take it and look at your life. What are you asking for? That thing you're asking for so seriously, would you give it? And this is another thing that we talked about in the beginning. Considering the other person, right? Looking at things from their own point of view, right? So that's another.
Dupsy wrote something. Dupsy said, as for me in my relationship, I'm sacrificing my relationship with some people because I'm a very jovial person and I am endowed, as a lady. So I had to cut some people off, even though I don't. Oh no, Billy didn't finish the comment.
Yeah,
didn't finish the comment.
We'll see it right after.
Later. Victor says, but the reward I see at the end is very much worth it. By that time, I will have all the adventures and personal activities I want in my own time. Yeah, so he had mentioned that he had to sacrifice the adventures in order to make money for a season, and then after that, he will get it. He will get it back. Kingsley, I think in response to something you said, I get you, but Pastor Anietie, what if your partner lacks emotional intelligence to know how much sacrifice you are making This has nothing to do with entitlement. My brother, if the partner lacks the emotional intelligence, put it in Excel sheet. He will get technical intelligence. So if he lacks the emotional intelligence to notice what you're sacrificing, put it in Excel sheet, spell it out. These are the sacrifices I am sacrificing for this relationship. Auntie, you need to make it count.
Yes, and sometimes people will act like they don't know, or maybe sometimes people really do not know, which is why you need that. I said something about communication. It has to be ongoing.
Yeah.
So when you are saying, please, can you take time off and just watch the children for these 3 years, right? I need to be able to say, these 3 years you're asking me to take time off. You know that by the time I'm coming back, my peers
would
will
have gone
now
through.
be maybe at this level. By the time I'm coming back in, there's no way I'm going to be at the same level with them anymore. I will now be their probably subordinate or something. But by the time I'm coming back in, my salary will be this, this will be that, and you discuss it. It's not comfortable, but since it's something we need to do, I will do it. And then you help the person to see what you're giving up. Communication is really, really important, so that it will not be that 4 years down the line, the person will tell you, is this your friend that you started with, they are already manager, you are still here supervisor. After you have sacrificed 3 years. Do you understand? That kind of thing can cause very serious fight, because somebody will say, was it not for the good of this family that I gave up? And now you're telling me this and that and that. So communication is so important. So one thing that we who are married need to pay attention to is that communication. While you're sacrificing all you're sacrificing and giving up all you're giving up, make sure the person you are doing this for understands it. And sometimes even the children, because some people will say, shield the children, they shouldn't know, they shouldn't be involved. But if they are not involved, if they're not aware, and they're just getting all the benefits from the sacrifice of their parents without knowing what it costs, it's like breeding entitlement.
Yes, it's like breeding entitlement.
Because those are the kind of people that feel money falls from trees. And they just make unnecessary demands. I think, and even put timelines by which time it must be done.
I remember we did something like that where we had to call our children and tell them, say, everybody, what's your plan for the next 5 years? When you put your plan for the next 5 years, we too, we now show you our plan for the next 5 years. We now show you our plan for the next 5 years. And I told them, see, please, I don't want my children to be the reason why I did not achieve my own plan for the next 5 years. And I also don't want to be the reason why they did not achieve their own plan for the next 5 years. So all of us are on the same page to know that, hey, if we're going to make sacrifices, any sacrifice I'm making for you, I also have sacrifices you need to make for me in order for me to achieve my own end game.
Yes, so that they also start learning to give.
Yes.
And not just take
all
the
time. And from something I was going to add for what you said about married couple. You see, the end game with people that are married is always about purpose. What's the purpose for which we are married? Now, I'm not saying that in a religious sense, in which, the purpose for which we are married is to change the world and unite the United Nations. No, that's not where I'm going. I'm going between the both of you. Does your marriage, does it make you better or does it make you worse? What's the end game for which both of you are married? If both of you were to not be married, what will suffer? Do you understand where I'm going? If both of you were to say, if both of us are not, if both of us should walk away, for example, from this whole marriage thing, because I don't get you, you don't get me, what will suffer? If you can't find 1, 2, 3 things, it means that both of you have not actually begun to eat the real fruit for which you are married, which is the purpose. Because the idea behind marriage is supposed to make the couple is supposed to make them better, because one will put 1,000 to flight, two will put 10,000 to flight. In other words, the two people coming together are supposed to become a united nation that actually solves the problem of other nations. I don't know if you are getting me. What I'm trying to say is that every marriage solves a problem in the nation or in the society or in the system within which it exists. Every marriage. So, and if you do not if you do not recognize the purpose for which you are married, then that's when it will now be, you will find the people in the marriage criminalizing the institution by taking advantage of somebody to advance myself. That's because you've not realized that your self-advancement and your spouse's disadvancement is a disadvantage to the vantage point that you guys have in the vantage institution.
In the big picture. The big
of
picture
marriage.
that is beyond the two of you.
That is beyond the two of you. That is it.
So yeah. So yes, couples, please pay attention. Pay attention to, and if you're wondering where to draw the line, because you say, oh, for this other guys it was simple. If you're wondering where to draw the line as a couple, look at how much are you sacrificing. If your sacrifice is coming to the point where you are, in quote, losing yourself, right? Where you're losing yourself and losing critical relationships like your immediate family, the people that are your real, true support system, the real people who seriously care about you, and you have to lose them in the process, then start checking. If you are giving to the point and sacrificing to the point that you feel used, that you feel that your life is stagnant, used, abused, and confused.
I didn't want to miss that one.
Yes, that's a line from Not Forsaken, one song I wrote way back. If you're at the point where your life is now continuously stagnated, because you are the one that is always giving, sacrificing, that is as if you are on pause, and every resource and everything that should have made you move a step further has been given up for the other person or the other people, while you are the one who is just on hold, on pause. Then check that you're entering danger zone. If you are at the point where you yes, where you're the one always sacrificing, we've talked about that. And then if you have come to the point where you're beginning to experience anger, frustration, hatred, bitterness, regrets, when you start having those, when you start beginning to have those initial, what if this person should just die? If something should just happen that is bad today, if ill will has come in, wahala, that one is not just danger zone. You're not just check, is that you have entered. Because for all those feelings to be there, you have entered danger zone, and you need counseling. You need counseling. You need to go and sit down and talk to a professional counselor that will help you to walk through and find a way forward, right? A way forward in that situation, because it is not the right place to be, and it will not help for you to continue to live with all of those negative feelings and emotions. Because some people, can stomach it for so long, and then one day they act out. And you don't know what the action is going to be. You don't want to wait to get there.
For couples that are married, we would recommend talking to a therapist, talking to a counselor, a professional counselor, and so that we could walk you through the process, especially if it is not that you just want to walk away. It is that you are willing to fight for your marriage, but somehow it's feeling like the other person is not getting you. Victor says, Kingsley F. Young, some people intentionally act or pretend that they don't see your sacrifice. In fact, they make you feel you haven't even sacrificed self.
You'll be questioning.
You yourself will be questioning your sacrifice.
Oh my goodness.
That one is pure wickedness. So. It's a car for
Oh
eight.
my God.
People wicked die.
Oh my
That's a good laugh. People
goodness.
wicked die. It's a car for eight. It's really important that we take time to evaluate ourselves. We take time to evaluate how we are living and what we are doing in our marriages. That's how marriages stay healthy. Sometimes people live for years and don't do health check. Like, I'm preaching to myself now because my doctor has said I should come and do my annual check. I've been doing what I don't know. But we live for so long and we don't check ourselves until things go very critically wrong. And people get married and stay married for so long. At a point, it's almost as if your marriage enters cruise control. You people are married, right? It's not as if you hate the other person or the other person. You are married, but you are just roommates or neighbors or housemates. Do you understand? Take time to check your marriage. Evaluate the health of your marriage. What is going on here?
Are we doing
How
okay?
are we doing?
Could
Are
we be doing better?
Yes.
What do we need to adjust?
Or is our marriage even in coma? Is our marriage even in coma? At these different points, you can talk to a therapist, you can talk to a counselor. I know Nigerians don't like to hear the word therapist or counselor or psychologist, or they just feel like when you start talking these things, it's like the person is a mad person.
To divorce.
Or if they
when it comes to
marriage.
But you can actually have you can actually be okay and just do a check.
Yeah, no, part of the things that a counselor or a therapist, or if you want the new word now, marriage coach, part of the things that a marriage coach does for you is actually to give you systematic steps to analyze your marriage and tell, are we doing okay? How are we doing? Because it will surprise you. We did an analysis, and it will surprise you. Of course, you know that we are certified marriage counselor. So but we did analysis and we find that you can be in a marriage with your spouse, and we do the analysis on you, and the man, his result is 70%, because he's saying, as far as I'm concerned, the marriage is okay. No wahala. Meanwhile, the woman does the same assessment and she's 16%, meaning that the marriage is in a coma. So one person is feeling like, oh, we are doing very well. Everything is okay.
But that one just clearly tells you that there's a serious communication issue.
That's where I wanted
because
to
it
end
means that somebody is disgruntled, somebody has issues and is not speaking up. And so the other person is feeling like all is well.
And it's possible that the person that is even not speaking up is not speaking up because he cannot talk. He may be speaking up because, he has heard from church that this is your cross. As a submissive wife, you are not supposed to speak up. You need to bear it and keep praying for your husband to change. So people of the Lord and people of this life, marriages require consistent conversations in order to keep the couples going. Evaluation, communication, because that's how you will know. That's because sometimes this sacrifice that you are saying you are sacrificing, that the other person is seeing, there's also the part where the other person doesn't even know that you are considering it a sacrifice. The person thinks it is a given. So conversations need to be had, and that's the whole essence of this. That if you're married, you need to have conversations about how you're doing and find out, if I'm getting uncomfortable with what I'm giving, maybe we need to talk about it and say, should I be giving this or should I not be feeling?
Should we make adjustments? Or if you think it's so simple, you handle it for 2 weeks. Let's see how it's going.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that done.
Yeah.
Time is up.
I just saw it too.
Yes.
Your
time is up. For those who want counseling and have a problem opening to
someone in person because of fear of being judged or whatever, BetterHelp app is a way to go.
Oh,
okay. Thanks, Victor. Yeah, BetterHelp app. That's a way to go. But very soon, from common sense for relationships, there's something we're going to bring forth for all our counseling. There's something that is coming up, but we will let you know when we cross that bridge. But something is coming up. But BetterHelp app.
So I guess we're not doing giveaways this week.
No. We're not doing. Okay. So we're not on set, and we don't have the.
So that will happen next week.
We'll resume next week. Let's take an Easter break. Jesus has already given it all. Why should we give anything away?
I hope nobody is saying that to their wife or husband.
It's possible. You are still there.
No. That's not allowed.
This weekend is Jesus that is doing giveaway.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, but on the more serious note, we'll be back on our usual set next week by God's grace, and we'll be able to pick up with the giveaway then.
So,
but thank you for being with us.
Thank you to everyone for being with us. It's been interesting how 1 hour passes
very quickly.
Right?
Yeah.
And we hope you got the high points. Singles, look out for yourselves in that relationship. Pay attention to what you're giving, how much you're giving. Make sure you're not giving things that people have not earned the right to receive.
Yeah.
And if you're married, please keep engaging, communicate. Make sure you're on the same page, and make sure you don't enter the red zone as far as those emotions are concerned. And if you have already entered, please go and get yourself a professional counselor.
So don't forget to share. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe if you've not subscribed. And let's move common sense for relationship to the permanent side.
And remember, common sense
is not so common.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you once again for joining us. We hope you got great value today. Our goal is to bring you valuable information to help you make better decisions in your life and relationships. Please do not forget to subscribe, share, and like.